Coach, David Gibbs, defensive coordinator, you've moved around to the defensive line coaching position. What's the thought process and everything as far as starting up the season and putting you with the defensive line?
Yeah, I think it just made more sense. I mean, Coach Gibbs is a back-end guy. Last 2 years I've coached D-ends, and I've actually never really been a linebacker coach since I've been coaching. Even in the NFL, I was coaching the D-ends and the inside guys. So it was an easy transition for me. I think a lot of people thought because I played linebacker here, that's all I know at Tech. But as a coach for my last 8 years, all I've ever done is coach D-line. So for me, and I'm excited to work with that group because, we've struggled at the D-line for the most part, even long before I got here at Tech. And so you couldn't talk a better challenge as a coach, how bad we struggled last year to take over a group and work with that group, and it's been awesome. I mean, our guys, D-line has really bought in. You see these guys just grinding and working in the summers, and we get these little extra meeting times in the summer, and their eyes are just big. They want to learn. They're soaking up football, and that's me as a coach. I'm going to teach you the fundamentals first, and then we'll start getting into stuff. But I want you to understand football and understand it as a whole, understand personnel groups, understand formation, backfield sets. I get you on the board and we talk about a defense. I make you draw up the entire defense, not just your position. So that's the biggest thing they've had to, especially the inside guys, have had to learn and adjust to. And then just like I said, in the summer workouts, I was a really not very athletic person. I actually had loft disease growing up. You know what loft is? Loft disease?
No.
Lack of freaking talent. So I had to be good with my technique, and I had to be good and training wise. And so, my guys will tell you, you won't find or get me more pissed off if you're not working hard in the summer. And to me, that's your edge. Even you guys like Ray Lewis are believable talent, and I tell these guys, I've seen some great players and how they train. That's the way that we have to train. We got to find that edge, and we have an amazing strength staff over there with Chad. But if you just do what he does and that's it every day, then you're just like everybody else. Because every college has a strength coach, and they're doing almost the exact same thing. So doing extra work and all that kind of stuff, those guys were doing. And you see a Ricky Levy that lost 40 pounds, and Brandon Jackson's 270, but he doesn't have an ounce of fat on him. Pete's got to 245. Gary Moore's added 20-plus pounds. I mean, you see these guys change. You walk in the building, and their bodies change. And then you ask them, and they say, Coach, I've never felt like this. Well, this is how it should feel. So we got that part, and now it's just the mental part. Football is not just physical. It's a mental game and mental toughness. And to me, that's what I stress right up there with working out is we better be meaner than everybody on the field, and that's our goal.
You mentioned with Brandon and Pete losing some weight and everything. Do you want to see them be more aggressive on the ends on the ball, get to the passer quicker and everything else? Is that one of the reasons why you've probably had them drop the weight? No,
not really drop as much. Pete actually gained a little bit. B-Jack he's about the same weight, but just body fat. He had a little pudge to him and just looked like an athlete, get cleaned up. And for me, it's just not getting the quarterback faster. It's just being able to go after that quarterback for 4 quarters. And when everybody else is tired, that's when we go. We don't stop, and it's all those guys in the room. It's they all had to get in better shape, and I'm, like I said, I'm just a big believer in that. I mean, I've seen Terrell Suggs, Ray Lewis, Darrell Revis, Cromartie and Adelius Thomas, Ed Reed. I've seen these guys work out, and you think you're working out hard until you see these older guys work out. Wes Welker will run until he throws up every single time he conditions. It's funny because I was actually with him a couple weeks ago in Fort Lauderdale. Took my wife and my son up there, and I went to go watch him work out. And there was probably 15 Pro Bowlers out, type players, Frank Gore and all that kind of stuff, and about 15 guys that were practice squad didn't make it. And just watching the difference, because I've been out of the league for about 3 years, but watching how they train and how they move, it just blows you away. But that's what it takes. I mean, if you truly want to be great, you better work like that. If not, you're just like everybody else. And so that's just something I just stress to these guys, and it means a lot to me. And they know that, and they know if they want to see bad Coach Smith come out, don't go out and work hard in the summer or something, or bend over. But those guys really bought in, and I'm excited to see how it translates to the field.
Are you seeing that type of work ethic from the freshmen and the second string as well? In addition, obviously with the starters, from what you said.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about a football team is your older guys. You know, get these young guys come in. You know, I can preach to them and tell them what I want, but when they see a Pete and Rika and B-Jack work like that, they're going to tendency to follow in what they do. You know, and to me that's why, you know, we're talking about the Ravens defense. They were good for so many years. Is that's how Ray wanted it. I mean, to me, there's a reason why. I mean, you know, I seen Ray kick guys out of meetings and say this is not how we're going to play here, because a coach can only say so much before your players got to stand up and say this is the right way and this is when we do it. So those guys, yes, have done a great job of leading for those younger guys.
So if you've talked a lot about Rika, will we see him on the field more this year then?
Yeah, all those guys. I mean, you know, we were talking about depth. To me right now, there is no starter. You know, Pete will come in here and tell you, I don't care if you led the Big 12 in sacks. If somebody beats you out, somebody beats you out. I do not play favorites. You know, he's entitled. You know, he'll be the first one to tell you, or B-Jack will tell you, I'll never let you slide in anything. If you loaf on a play, your butt's going to get chewed out just as the third string loafing on the play. And I'm going to find me 4 guys after this training camp is over with that are going to be my 4, whoever it's going to be is going to be my 4 best players. And then really if you talk about the inside guys, you know, we're starting to get depth, and these guys are starting even on the edges. But the mistake I did last year is we weren't good as the backups, and Pete and B-Jack had to play 80, 90 snaps. You add special teams 100 snaps a game, and it really affected their play later on in the game. And so I can't do – now I have some depth where it's hard to even say a starter or a backup, because those guys are going to play equal reps, especially in the inside. I mean, Rika can't go 80 snaps. You know, so Outlaw's got to get ready, and that's going to be a good competition. Outlaw and Rika and Marcus Smith, and then you have Keelan, Braden Fajoko, and Broderick that's going to get in there, and DA. So I'm starting to get some depth where every 2 or 3 plays these guys can rotate in, get some water, and then go back out there. And that's how it should be. Nobody should be able to play 90 snaps on defense. It's not possible.
From a mentality standpoint that you talked about, just the toughness and the physical beast that you want to try to instill in all your defensive players, have you noticed that there's been any sort of kind of an upping the ante as far as physicality or aggression just out? I don't know. What I'm trying to say here is, do you think that preseason rankings obviously mean nothing at the end of the day, but being kind of slated in the middle of the pack, do you think that's something that can be advantageous for the players as far as feeling like they're being disrespected?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, if you walk to my room now, I've got quotes on the thing, quotes on our wall that rank our D-line the worst in the Big 12 or some of the worst in the country. I mean, I say that every single day. Don't forget what they think about us and where we're at. And, you know, I'll show them clips from last year. Now, I've moved on from that because now we got to start building them up. But don't forget, you want to take a day off, don't forget how bad it was last year and what people really think of us. And so, yeah, I definitely use that as leverage, and so should they.
82 points stick in your craw.
Huh?
82 points stick in your craw.
Yeah, that does. I mean, all those games. I mean, I to this day, I still lay in bed and I think about every situation last year, every game. You know, it was interesting to see. You know, Cliff pulled up some the other day, and you know, out of our losses last year, only one of them we were losing at halftime, and that was TCU. Mm-hmm. So the rest of those games we were in. You know, West Virginia, OU, and all these opponents. You know, so. Again, that goes back to toughness and how young we were last year, playing a lot of true freshmen, all that stuff. These guys have grown up; they're maturing a little bit more. And but yeah, no, I still think about a lot of those games. But I'm looking forward to getting that bad taste in my mouth and getting ready for this season.